This demonstration is to show how to get started on the messenger bag project. So the bag project requires 2 pockets, and you should always start with your pockets. So I have a pocket here that's going to go on the front of my bag, and it's going to be a patch pocket, meaning that it's going to sort of float in the middle of my bag piece. So the bottom and the sides and the top will be in from the edges of my messenger bag. I will also show in a later demonstration a terminating pocket, which means it goes into the seams of the bag itself. So those things go on slightly differently, and I will show you both of them. So the first step in creating my pocket is to finish the top edge, the edge of the pocket that will not be sewn down to the bag. That has to be pre-finished before I do anything else. So I've already started by rolling in my seam allowance. So you need to make sure that you cut your pocket at least a 1/2 inch around all sides bigger than you want it to actually finish. And this means that I'm rolling a 1/4 of an inch and then pressing that, ironing that down flat, and then rolling it a second time at a 1/4 of an inch to create this nice finished edge. I cannot leave any raw frayed edges of my pocket out. So I need to make sure that all of my pocket edges are finished in some way. So this is how I'm doing the first one. And this technique that I'll use to finish this is called an edge stitch. So this means that I've rolled this seam allowance in, and then I'm going to stitch very, very close to this inner folded edge. It wants to be the inner folded edge and not the outer folded edge, so that when my pocket is functioning, that this does not flip open on me. If I sew too close to this, then there'll be a lot of give here and this will move around. I want to secure my folded edge as close as I can to the actual fold. So that's what I'm going to be demonstrating. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my machine. I've got my sewing machine already threaded. You want to make sure you're conscious of your thread choices here, meaning that you've picked an appropriate color thread for what you're doing, because your bobbin thread will actually appear on the outside. And now I'm lining up with my presser foot, the inner edge of my presser foot here, so that my needle will hit just next to my fold. So I'm going to watch the fold as it hits the inner edge of the presser foot. Regular stitch length, I'm going to go ahead and stitch a couple stitches and back stitch and then go forward. And again, I'm watching that my folded edge runs right along the inner edge of my presser foot. On a home machine, there's multiple ways to do this, including moving your needle position, but on an industrial machine, you cannot move the needle. So you have to move your fabric in an appropriate way. All right, and back stitch. And now, I'm going to go ahead and steady the camera. It always likes to vibrate once the machine is slowing down. I'm going to go ahead and clip my threads. This is an important step as you're finishing, to go back and clip both ends so you don't have long hanging threads there. And you can see now this stitch that is very close to that folded edge. You can see this is what it looks on the right side of the fabric. So again, your thread color choice, I've got a sort of beigey gold thread here, is appropriate to my fabric. If I'm picking a multicolor fabric like this, I'm just going to have to pick one color thread and use that throughout that is appropriate to this fabric. If you have a solid fabric or a print that's more monochrome, then obviously you can pick a thread that matches more specifically. So this is my top pocket edge. I will make separate videos how to apply this patch pocket in just a second.